I'm looking through the ads, and I'm really good about looking through Craigslist. And I had seen a truck on there that had been in a front-end collision for $22,000. And I mean, just the parts is $22,000, you know, so somebody could buy it and they could really make a good deal out of it, a new truck. So I didn't do anything about it. I just kind of watched it. And then over probably a year, I could see the price steadily going down, 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 down. And so finally, when it got down to $9,000, I thought, well, I'm going to go up there and check this truck out. I had no idea where it was at. I knew it was far away from where I live, but I didn't know exactly. It was 4 hours away from where I live. And as I was driving there initially, I was in a car to make the trip, just to check it out. I almost turned around because it was crazy how far it was. And as I got out there, it was a lady in this really custom home out in the boondocks, and her husband had gotten Alzheimer's, and so his memory was really gone. And this was the car that he had when he was a teenager, and he was in his 80s, I think. And then he had really built it up. It was a 1-ton truck with dualies on it, and it had a flatbed, and just the interior was unbelievably nice. I later found out it has a 454 engine it's a 454 LS6 engine hooked up to a turbo 400 transmission, which is a very, very strong automatic transmission. And then it had a gear vendor on it so that it could drop down the RPMs when you're traveling on the highway. But the front end was really damaged, you know, so it's a GMC, so they have a really nice bumper system, which I'll put a picture of that on the video too. Not the one that I have, but I'm going to put the one that, what it would look like. And so as I went out there and I started talking to the older guy, he was telling me, oh yeah, he goes, I have a whole new bumper set. It's already been re-chromed. So he had already gotten the bumpers, and these bumpers would typically go for $4,500 not being re-chromed, just before you chrome them. And so I looked at it. He indeed had all the bumpers. They're super expensive. They're like gold. And then, so we agreed on a deal. I think it was $8,500. So I said I have to come back with my truck and my trailer. So I set up a time a couple of weeks later, and I went back up there. When I went up there, I was looking at loaded the truck up, got it back, because that's where the money's at. And I did go ahead and pay them, you know, for the $8,500. And I collected the bumpers, because that's expensive too. I took as much of the expensive stuff as I could. And then it was all based on it was going to have clear title. It was not a salvage title, you know, and they assured me it was not. And so I took it back to my house. And right before I left, she said, oh, you're going to take the other truck too, right? And I said, what other truck? She goes, we have another truck over there. It's a parts truck. And when I saw that, I was just shocked that it was included in the deal, because it was in such good shape. The engine hadn't been ran, and it probably had 2 feet of mouse poop in the interior of it. But other than that, it was in really good shape, and it had a registration too. So this is good. I said, well, I'll have to come back on another trip to pick up the flatbed, and then I'll try to pick up that truck at that time. So I went back to my house, immediately went to AAA to get it registered in my name. And that's where we figured it out. This does have a salvage title. Now for me personally, I just don't buy cars with salvage titles unless I'm going to just completely take it apart. Just because it's hard to insure, but there's also a lot of liability if you get into an accident, and it has something to do with why it was salvaged. So I called her up immediately and I said, this thing has a salvage title. I even made her write on the receipt that it was a clean title. And she apologized up and down because her husband had taken care of that when they got into that accident, and he ran into a tree. But they had collected money from an insurance company on it, so from my standpoint, it was no good. I mean, it definitely wasn't worth $8,500. So she said, well, let me think about it, and I'll call you right back. So she called me back, and I was pretty adamant I didn't want it. I was going to bring it back up there. And then she said, is there any way that you would take it like with a discount? I said, well, I will probably take it for $4,500, but I'd really rather just bring it back. And I was serious. I mean, that's how I felt. But she said, okay, we'll do the $4,500. So I still had 2 more runs to go back and pick up this thing, and it's 4 hours away, so 8 hours round trip. I went back and I picked up the flatbed next, and I was really shocked at how heavy this flatbed was. It was straining my winch to get it onto my flatbed trailer, and it's in really good condition. But I'm not even sure if I want a flatbed. I might want to just have my regular step side bed, because that's how Danny Malazzo's was. And so, and his was not a GMC, it was a Chevy. So now I'm going way outside. And then I went up and went back up there, took that one, paid it. I got a credit back, $4,000. And then I went up there and got that last one. Now the last one, she told me it was a clear title too, so I didn't have that written down anywhere. But I went immediately to AAA to get it registered, and it was on non-op for sure, but it was a clear title, and it was a 1965 GMC. So actually, in my mind, that one was worth more than this one that was all gussied up, but it had been hit. But maybe I could combine the two and create a 1956 GMC, and that's my idea. So once I came up with that, I'm buying these cars only to go for something bigger and better. From the 57 Chevy, that was just a roller, to a chassis that was an 87 Chevy, cut down for a 57 Chevy truck, to the extra cab, and then ended up getting 2 more cars, 2 more, the 57 GMC and the 56 GMC. So that's why I have all of these Chevy trucks. It had to do with Danny Malazzo and riding around in his truck, which I really loved. I'm going to try to make my trucks look just like that, and it's a project that I have in the future. I really haven't done too much other than I bought 2 brand new fenders for it, and I redid a hood. I have a couple of hoods, and even these hoods are like worth gold. So I had it all stripped down. We found some rust on it. I didn't know it was there, but when we sandblasted it, we found it. And so then they have braces inside there that were riveted on, and the braces weren't in good shape. So we ended up sandblasting them and epoxy primering them. And then that's all going to be painted and then glued together. They have this glue that they use that's really good for body work. And it's going to give it a real clean look. It'll look just as beautiful on the inside of the hood as it does on the outside. So that's the story about the 57 GMC. I will take a short video on it, walk around, and then let you see that project. And once I get the van out of there, that's the next one that's scheduled to go in. So I don't really want to get anything else done on it other than parts. And once I get it running and I've got the major body parts all figured out, then I am going to put the other stuff up for sale. It'll go pretty quickly, just because they're not making any more 57 Chevys, and people are wrecking them. In fact, I noticed that there was a Model A Ford that was in the fires down there in LA, and it was all completely burnt up, which can make you sick, because I'm a car buff. But anyway, that's why I'll also be selling all of my 57 Chevy parts, mostly. And I'll even sell that 56 GMC, but I'll probably be using that title on the other truck, so that at least I'll have one that has clean title and looks really good, And when these things are completed, you might think, why are you going through all this hassle, Dave? Well, by the time they're completed, these trucks sell for 40 or 50,000. So I don't have 40 or 50,000. So I figured I'll just go ahead and build my own. And that's really what I've been doing. sorry about the lengthy video. I'm glad you guys found me. That will be a project that I'll take some pictures of so you can see. And thank you for getting all the way to the end of this video. Have a great day, and look forward to seeing you again.